Hi, I'm Arson StrataGames, and today we're playing in the Pauper Showcase Challenge. I've decided to take Black Sack. There was a little bit of discussion, internal monologue, about what to play. I was thinking about doing White Weenie, but I decided that this is the deck I'm most comfortable with, and that I want to play. There's also been... Turbo Fog is notoriously one of White Weenie's worst matchups, and while it's not usually a very prevalent deck, the blue-green-white Coggates deck that splashes for Fogs has been popping up a little bit recently, and that seems like a terrible nightmare for that deck. So, I don't know, for a couple reasons, I decided to play Black Sack. This is not quite my stock list. I've actually reverted to a couple cards based on my earlier stock lists. From Tragic Slips back to Snuff Outs in the main deck. The reason for this is that the Tireless Tribe Boros deck has become pretty prevalent, and I'm expecting to run into that, or at least to have it in the challenge, a couple people playing it. And Snuff Out is just so much more important against those really fast creature combos. They can combo on turn 2 if they have the right cards. Although if we have a blocker, it usually has to be at least turn 3. But Snuff Out can be really good against them. And we're also playing a Cursed Marauders. I just shifted away from these because I didn't think they were necessary. But then this Selesnya Gates deck has become very prevalent, which plays Guardian of the Guild Pact. So then you equip it with your Armadillo Cloak, that's the card, and you can just kind of win that way. It's pretty slow, so we should already be able to win by then, but their goal is to slow us down. So I brought the Marauders back in place of 2 Shambly Ghasts. So this is actually, I think, exactly my stock list, my stock 60 from 8 months ago or something like that. So I'm still pretty comfortable with the list. But yeah, these are some changes I thought would be better for this challenge. Otherwise, we have 4 Vampire, Feeder, Beetle. We have 4 Infestation Sage, Nested Shambler, Linkbreaker, 2 Shambling Ghast, 2 Sadistically, 3 Stamina, 2 Unearth, 4 Village Rites, 2 Rite of Consumption, 17 lands. And then sideboard, 2 Rotten Reunion, 2 Tragic Slip, 2 Vampiric Link. I went down to 1 Accursed Marauder since I brought 2 into the main deck, which allowed me to add a Fairy Macabre to our deck, which allowed me to add a Fairy Macabre to our sideboard. I'm not exactly sure what I wanted this to be. I used to play 4 Mesmeric Fiends, so that's what I would have if I were reverting to that. But I've actually found that I don't really need more than 2 Mesmeric Fiends, and I feel like Spy and the Tribe deck and a lot of these decks, also the Gates decks, all care about the graveyard, so I figured... I usually like Rotten Reunion. We're still playing 2 of those, but I figured we'd try 1 Fairy Macabre in here. Also, 2 Drowned in Sorrow, Spinning Darkness, Sivok Lifestaff, and a Nile Spellbomb. So that's the deck list we're running. Let's take it into the challenge and see how we do. Thanks to Card Market for sponsoring this video. I've written a comprehensive guide on how to play White Weenie in Pauper, including my ideal stock list, over 30 sideboard matchups, and a sideboard cheat sheet, which gives you a very easy snapshot view and what to sideboard for every single matchup. I also have guides for Black Sack and Esper Affinity. Each guide is only $15, and if you buy one, you will get all future updates that I ever make to that guide for free. I also offer coaching, so if you're interested in upping your Pauper game for any of the decks that I'm very proficient in, or if you're interested in having me play your deck in a future video, you can do a deck donation, which is the only way you'll ever see me playing Cycle Storm or Flickertron. Alright, round 1 here, we're on the play, which is pretty nice. We got Beetle, Feeder, and a bunch of fodder, and a Snuff Out. This hand is great. We're going to lead on a Sage, because we don't know what we're playing against yet. And looks like Terror, which is generally a pretty good matchup for us. So swing with Sage, Carrion Feeder, and Beetle, get those through counter spells. I think I just Snuff Out Delver now. We have a pretty fast start, so we might not have to care about it, but it's still just a chump blocker we don't have to deal with later. And we'll already be bigger than Terrors once they get to there, so I think we'll be okay. They Brainstorm in the main phase. I could have maybe waited to see if they Brainstormed in their upkeep to try to flip the Delver, but if they didn't do that, then they could just have a counterspell up or something like that, so maybe I could have gotten a little value from that. They play an island. They play an island and deem inferior the Carrion Feeder. That's annoying that they have this early, but we haven't committed anything to the counters yet, so I could just sacrifice the Carrion Feeder to itself, grow the Beetle, and we have a Vampire, but then if they have another Demon Inferior for the Vampire, I'd have to let it go. I think it's early enough, maybe we just let this go, because I'd rather have the Carrion Feeder, honestly. We get a Stamina, so yeah, we're going to get a Vampire down, which is a lot worse in this matchup than the Feeder, but we'll get it through a counterspell, and then if they hold up a counterspell for the Carrion Feeder, we just still have a sack outlet on board. They're going to Ponder. They play an island and pass. We're drawing Carrion Feeder. So Sage plus Stamina is already lethal here. So if I do that, they're going to be forced to counterspell unless they have a bounce spell, which I'm not going to expect. If I Carrion Feeder, they probably counter it. So yeah, I think we just play Sage, swing, and go for the Stamina. If they don't do the math, then I could just kill them here. Although if they just let this resolve, I could be worried that they actually have something. Yeah, they dispel it. That's fine. So if I sack Sage, Insect, that's plus 12. We hit for them down to 5, but then we just have a Beetle and a Vampire, so I don't think we want to go that hard because I want to have some fodder for this vampire. But the beetle keeps its counters, so I think we do probably 2 here. We hit for 9, then pass. They cycle a Lorien for an island. Cycle another Lorien. There's a terror, and a terror, and a terror. Well, things are going really well, and they're still not terrible, but that was not what we wanted to see. Because I could attack with, like, vampire or beetle, but they get to just double or triple block. Well, we're going to play all these out. So I have 5 things I could sacrifice. Make this 11-11. Make this an 8-8. So they're both lethal. They have to block both, which would be chumping. But if they double block the beetle, I'm not going to trade. It's only going to trade 1 there. Their last card is an island, right? Yeah, because they cycled the other Lorien so they could get all terrors out. Could attack with just the vampire. I could wait till next turn and we have Carrion Feeder, Vampire Beetle. Feeder can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So a 7/7, so just short of lethal. But if I get any fodder, I could have 3 lethal attackers. They have to block each of them. Yeah, I think we should wait. Hope they don't draw something great. Sleep of the Dead would be brutal. They got no attacks, pass the turn. We get a swamp, which means we're pretty much in the same spot. They could have a counter spell, which obviously doesn't matter because we don't have anything to cast, but it could give them more confidence. Because, like, currently on board, Carrion Feeder can only be a 7/7, but if I had, like, a supernatural stamina, it could be a 9/9, which means they'd all be lethal, but if they have a counter spell, they don't have to worry about blocking the feeder, which means they could just block, like, double block here, block here. I feel like we have to pass, but it gets worse the longer we wait. I maybe should have sacrificed the Sage just to have a flyer start chipping in. But I think we got to pass now. We didn't draw anything, so hopefully we'll get something next turn and they'll keep whiffing, ideally. Thought Scour is decent. Mills an Island and Counterspell. They drew Sleep of the Dead, so that's brutal. They tap down the Beetle and probably the Vampire. They attack with 2 terrors, probably. If they attack with all terrors, I would love... Okay, well, if they attack with all terrors, that means I just need to draw any creature and I can kill with the Carrion Feeder. Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Which is why I expected them to leave something back. I mean, we'll block 2 of them, sacrifice, and if I get a creature, we should be good. They just play an island. Sadistically works too. Oh, we didn't even need one actually, because Mercenary pumps this. So we have it regardless. But yeah, I was very scared with the Sleep of the Dead, but since they left back only... Yeah, they didn't leave anything back. That we didn't even have to block because we could have just taken it. So I definitely think they should have left back 1 terror, if not 2. But I'm glad they didn't, because that was actually kind of close. So here we get Marauder, Tragic Slip, Spellbomb. Usually I like Rotten Reunion because it's also... Because getting rid of a Sleep of the Dead is so important. Sadistically and Rite of Consumption are just tough because they have counter spells and they have ways to bounce our creatures. This is a matchup that we're already favored against, but also where Marauder and Snuff Out are better than the alternatives, so that's pretty nice. Get rid of a couple Shambling Ghasts. Alright, his hand is decent, we'll keep. It's not amazing. Start with the Delver. We get a Carrion Feeder. If I lead on Feeder, they can't counterspell it, although sometimes this deck brings in Gut Shots to deal with our Carrion Feeder if I play it right on turn 1, which is pretty rough, so I think we just Sage. They flip off a Force Spike, play another Delver, swing for 3, yeah, it's pretty aggressive. We Carrion Feeder so we don't get Force Spiked, swing and pass. They're going to cycle a Lorien. While they're tapped out, I'm going to Village Rites this Sage. Vampire and Swamp is not what we wanted. The double Delver start is pretty much our worst case scenario. They naturally flip another one. That's pretty rough. I'm gonna block and sack. They just pass. I guess we play Vampire. No counterspell for that. Could really use some removal, but it feels like it's almost too late. I mean, a Cursed Marauder or something would still slow their clock a little bit. They're just going to pass here. I'm going to Rotten Reunion. I don't care if they Force Spike this. If they don't, then I get to have a guy for Village Rites. Stamina. Swing for 5. Village Rites the zombie. Another Village Rites. Come on. We need to be able to kill next turn. So I'll play another Vampire, I guess. They Thought Scour. Ponder an Island. We have 5 damage off a Vampire. That's like it. I guess 5. 7 from the Stamina. 9 with the Rotten Reunion. I guess it's close. They Mental Note, mill, Force Spike, Cryptic Serpent. So they got rid of the Force Spike. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They could play a Terror or something. I could Village Rites here. I mean, it's not great sacrificing probably a Vampire. Actually, I think I need the Vampire. It's probably the Carrion Feeder. But I need to have more damage. And I don't want to waste this mana. Yeah, I'd sack the Feeder. Marauder, although it's a turn too late unless, well, if Stamina works, I could kill both of these maybe with Marauder, but I need them to not have a single counterspell. That seems tough. Plus now Terror makes that harder, and another Delver, so that's not going to work at all. Yeah, I mean, I can Marauder, Stamina, both of these away. I could just Link Breaker, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's only 11. So I don't have the mana to, even if they don't have a counterspell, I don't have the mana to Rotten Reunion, Accursed Marauder, Stamina, and Link Breaker. And I have to have all of that. Marauder, I'll sack the Delver, I assume. Link Breaker, yeah, they could have Dispel for this. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's only 11. I'm 1 mana or 1 damage short, regardless, even if they don't have a counterspell. Stamina here. They don't have the counterspell, but it doesn't matter because it's 1 short. I guess 1 mana, they could have another Force Spike, so I'm 2 mana short, but oh, that is really unfortunate. Just the super fast double Delver start. Part of me likes the idea of bringing like a Vampiric Link in this matchup for that exact situation, but in general we're favored, and if they don't have exactly double Delver, I'm usually fine. Like, we were so close that if we were on the play there, we would have been fine. If we had 1 removal spell early, that Marauder was just like 3 turns too late. I mean, 1 turn too late would have been, 1 turn earlier would have been really relevant. 3 turns ago would have been a lot nicer, but whatever. On the play, 1 land. A lot of good cards, but if our Village Rites gets countered, we might just lose. We have Shambler plus Stamina, which is so good against this opponent. I think we're going to try it. Like, if we just make a bunch of squirrels, it's really hard for them to come back from that. But I'm going to lead on Sage, because if we don't get a Swamp, I'm going to want a Village Rites. They Ponder, that's good, so they're tapping out for us. Hopefully we hit our land drop. We do, we just draw Swamp naturally. That's great. So I think I just get a Vampire down then. Since this is the hardest thing to get through a counterspell, I'll play Shambler. If they want to counter that, it'd be a little annoying, but if they don't, I'll just hold up my instant speed stuff. Swing for 2 here. Pass. If they tap out, I will definitely Stamina this and sack it. There's the Thought Scour, Mill's Terror, Brainstorm. I'm not going to play into a Dispel or a Force Spike, but again, if they fully tap out, Thought Scour, Cryptic Serpent Ponder. There we go. Stamina here. Sack it. So now even if they like tap down or Demon Fury or Vampire, we also just have like 5 1/1s to hit them with. They do Mental Notes. I mean, they went really ham on that. They can get some terrors down. Just 1. It looked like maybe they have a Cryptic Serpent, which they couldn't play. If I play Sage, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This could be lethal, so they have to chump it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's already lethal. So I'd rather get down a Carrion Feeder in case they have a Force Spike, I think. And then Sage, they don't. Swing with the team. They block the Vampire. So I don't love that to keep this alive, I always have to trade 3 pieces of fodder for their Terror. But we have enough fodder here that I think killing their Terror is worth it. We still hit them for 4. They probably have a Cryptic Serpent, which I think we saw before. Yeah, and a Delver. And a Terror. Come on, dude. So now this Vampire, like, just basically can't attack because it's just too much power, too many things I'd have to sacrifice. Let's Village Rites here. Accursed Marauder kills a Delver, I guess, which is relevant. Let's do that. Attack with Carrion Feeder. Well, let's see. I can attack with both. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is still lethal, so they have to block that. But if they block, I have to sacrifice 3 more things. I'm just losing too much fodder. I think I have to pass. I wish this Vampire had been a Carrion Feeder from the beginning. Spire Golem. That's new. Well, old, but not something I've seen in Terror in a very long time. No attacks. We get a Swamp. Vampire. Pass. They have a Mental Note. Dispel. Lorien. Swing with the Golem. I'll take it. Delver. Stamina. I think we just pass. I try to Stamina on their end step. They don't flip the Delver. They draw Terror. Swing with the Golem. We'll just pass. Now we get a Village Rites. Alright. Let's Stamina the Shambler. See if they have a counterspell. They do. Dispel. Village Rites a Squirrel. Beetle's pretty good, but it gets counterspelled. They just drew all the creatures they needed. I feel like we're going to lose now. That's really annoying. Delver flips off of Sleep of the Dead. Perfect card. We get like our most favored matchup, and they just draw incredibly. They even milled like 3 serpents. Doesn't matter. They attack with a whole bunch of stuff. Guess I'm kind of forced to block. We'll take 5. Now we get another beetle, but it's way too little too late. Especially because it gets tapped down by the sleep. Block, block, pass. They draw Lorien Revealed. Swing with just the flyers, which we'll take. We get a Village Rites. Well, I will sack a squirrel. Hope we draw two of the best, most incredible cards we've ever seen. I mean, Rotten Reunion's really good, actually, against sleep. 1, 2, 3, 4. Vampires don't look like they're lethal. Unless I have a Rotten Reunion, which I do. So they might not block them, but that seems unlikely. They block both. And a feeder. And I sacrifice 2, trade. Yeah, I mean, we're going to play Carrion Feeder, we're going to play Swamp. I think we have to attack. We could wait one more turn, but then they're going to have more mana up. And I need to Reunion either way. So I think we swing here. I mean, best case scenario, they think one of the vampires is not going to be lethal, because I don't, I need to have 2 more fodder for them to be lethal, which I do in hand, but then they don't block a vampire. Seems unlikely. They block the beetle, though. That's fair. So this is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So not enough. So I'm going to Reunion their Sleep of the Dead. Make a guy. Reunion. That's the only thing that matters. So 1 random spell. Then we're going to Bloodthorn Vampire, sack here. Grow the beetle. Vampire, sack here. So these will trade. Vampire, sack here. Oh, I thought the beetle was going to survive this. Ugh, not unless I sack one more thing to a vampire, because beetle's a 6/6. So I could let this go. All of these trade. I have 1 Carrion Feeder and they're at 10, so that's never going to win me the game, which means I think I have to sacrifice a Carrion Feeder to the vampire, meaning I keep a vampire and a 7/7 beetle. Yep, that's better. I thought I could keep Carrion Feeder plus the beetle, but not unless I want to let them have a terror or something, which would kill me. Alright, so this kills all their guys. I keep these 2. I mean, they don't have lethal on me. As long as they don't have a Sleep of the Dead or something, they might have to leave back creatures. Although I guess they attack with the Aberration. They have a golem to block, and chances are I can't get around this. And we'll die next turn. They attack with both? Did they draw like a gut shot, or they just have a bunch of creatures to play? Serpent. Look at this. Sometimes it's almost impossible to find creatures in this deck, and they found all of them. That is pretty annoying. Alright, let's see if we can bring this back in round 2. This hand is mediocre. I wish these 2 cards were something different. We're on the play. I mean, this is pretty good. I think we'll keep it. Mulliganing sucks a lot in this deck, and this is right on the cusp of not being good enough, but we'll give it a try. Start with a Link Breaker and pass. Against Affinity, it looks like, which is one of our worst matchups, although we just lost to one of our best. So I probably want to Stamina, Carrion Feeder. I could Stamina and Village Rites, but I think I want to get the damage going. I can always Village Rites later. Plus, this is enough creatures to protect it from a Galvanic Blast. Could also be Jund, but a lot of Jund decks have gone away from Blood Fountain and also only have 2 Vault of Whisper, so it's just less likely than it being Affinity. Refurb, not a big deal because we have this Swamp to pitch. And it is Grixis. Beetle's pretty good. We have a decent start. We are going to lose pretty hard to a Krark Death Touch, but I don't think I can do anything about that. So let's just play Beetle, swing with the team. They're going to take it. So I'm going to deal them 4, and I'm going to sacrifice the Mercenary, actually. Usually I'd like to do Link Breaker, so I have 2 Mercenaries. But Krark Death Touch, would still force them to use 2 things to sacrifice unless they want to leave us with a Mercenary. And I want to do it now because I could get a land and like a 1-drop that's pretty relevant, like another Beetle. So this is tough. I could definitely play the Beetle, which means we have a pretty good next turn. If they do have Krark Death Touch, we pretty much lose, and we already have an okay board. Although these do both die to Galvanic Blast. I think we're just going to leave it, though. We can recover really well if they do have Krark. Well, we need some fodder for this, but pretty good start to recovery. And if they do Galvanic one of these, then we just have the replacement anyway. Swing with Refurb. That does not inspire me with confidence, because you'd think they wouldn't want to hold that back unless they have an answer to everything. Okay. Enforcer is just a blocker, and maybe they have a Galvanic? Okay, not too bad. Swamp is bad, though. Now I can't attack unless I want to play these. I probably do need to play these and just... We're going to have to sacrifice a lot, though, if they have the Galvanic Blast here. Looks like they block Beetle. Even if I have these on the field, we have to sacrifice Link Breaker, Mercenary, and Carrion Feeder. And then if they have Galvanic, we'll have to also sacrifice like a Beetle just to get it to kill the Mirror Enforcer. I'm going to play a Beetle. I don't think we can play around the Krark anymore. But to be honest, I don't think we can attack here. I think we just pass. Hope we draw some fodder next turn. Okay, they have a Cam. That changes things, actually. It's funny. Them using the Cam to tap a creature actually allows us to attack, because then I don't have to be worried about the Galvanic. So if I attack with this Beetle, it could become a 5/5 if I sacrifice Feeder and Link Breaker and Mercenary, which is totally fine. They're just going to take it. I'll leave it at 2. That's fine. Thoughtcast. Another Mirror Enforcer. No attacks this time. Another Carrion Feeder. Ugh, we really don't want to wait around because that gives them more time to find Krark, but we just don't have enough to really punch through. I mean, we'll see if when we go to combat they cast another cam or something. No. I could attack. I'd probably block. I don't really get in for much. I think we're just going to pass. They're going to bargain away a Mirror Enforcer, which does grow our beetles. Gains them a heck of a lot of life, though. Refurb. Discard a swamp. Play a Wellspring. Unearth. We have nothing in the graveyard, but we can sack Link Breaker and bring it back. So that's 4. Yeah, I think that's worth it. I mean, definitely worth it. And since they lost one of their enforcers, I think we can attack decently now. Unearth Link Breaker. Yeah, they have another cam. Probably tap the biggest beetle, which is annoying, but again, we don't have to be worried about the Galvanic, so I think I can swing with everything. Block. I can make this Carrion Feeder 5/5 to Ether Enforcer if I want to sacrifice another Carrion Feeder in all of this. Or I just sacrifice this Carrion Feeder to this one. We hit for 5, but we don't clear a blocker. Although I guess if they have 2 Enforcers in their grave, they can bring them right back. Yeah, for that reason, I think I'm going to sack the Feeder and just hit them for 5 here. I guess they got a Refurb they can bring back anyway, but I don't know. They need a mana for that at least. There's a Thoughtcast. Bargain a Wellspring. Spellbomb. Okay, I mean, their board is not too scary. Spellbomb does make a Stamina or an Unearth a bad draw. So of course we get the Unearth. I mean, I can cycle it, which I probably should, because I could get a lot of other 1-drops that are relevant. And I'm not going to cast into their Spellbomb. Snuff out, so I can kill this. They block here. I can deal 8. Probably lethal, I think. So let's pump here. Snuff out the Mirror Enforcer. Swing with the team. Block the biggest beetle. Sack Link Breaker. Doing it on the bigger feeder here because I want to make sure I can dodge a Galvanic Blast. This is 12, 14, 16. Yeah, 14. Yep, 16. So we'll pass priority. They could have like a Toxin, but then I get to just sack the beetle. It doesn't matter. All right, we won that one despite them having a lot of blockers. They didn't find the Krark, but they had a lot of turns to find it. They went down to 35 cards in deck, so that was good for us. We get Tragic Slip, Mezfiend, exchange for Marauders. All right, 4 lands is almost always a mulligan, especially when the rest of our spells look like this. Ugh, unfortunately, not good enough. This one is pretty bad too, seeing as we're reliant on our 2-drops, but we're gonna keep Tragic Slip and I think the Fiend. I think our goal here is get a insect with a Sadistically and grow it so that it doesn't die to a Galvanic, and then it dodges a Krark, and then maybe we can survive. Swamp is a good draw. They got a Wellspring. Shambler. Okay. Well, I guess our plan could pivot a little bit. I could Stamina, Shambler, make a bunch of guys. I could still do the same thing with the Sadistically on the Insect, and then this just makes a bunch of guys. Oh, God. This Refurb's so bad. Everything in our hand is so important. Problem is if I go all in on the Shambler, it dies to Krark, whereas the Insect can dodge that. We have more likelihood to draw another Shambler, but Shambler plus Sadistically... Again, I just don't think that's what we want. I think we discard Stamina, because that also gets nerfed by like a Spellbomb, which they could have. Yeah, it's not great. I really wish we could keep all of these. My hope was to draw a Swamp, honestly, so I could play all 3 of these in the same turn. Now it's definitely not my hope to draw a Swamp. We'll discard Stamina. They have a Thoughtcast and a Bridge. Carrion Feeder. We're going to swing. If they don't block, I could sack the Sage to get an Insect with Flying. Sadistically, the problem is I'm not going to have enough creatures to sacrifice to grow it out of range of a Galvanic, so it could just die to that. But if they don't, then... Or if they go for the Krark, it's going to be worth it. I think we deal 2, Carrion Feeder, sack the Sage, and then I Sadistically. Still dies to Galvanic, but we have 2 other cards that they might want to try to Galvanic over it, or Krark wipe away. I don't know. It's risky. They could just have Krark and Galvanic here, and we can't do anything about it. But if they have Krark and nothing else, or Krark and Death Touch, then our Insect survives and gains a bunch of counters. Trying to kind of trying to hedge against both. Even if I play the Shambler instead of the Feeder, this could only be a 4/4. So that would make a difference. If playing this would have made it a 5/5, I would have done that. But alas. They go for a Thoughtcast. Spell Bomb. Tap land. Mirror Enforcer. They got that scary 1 red mana up again. Not blue, so no Sewer Valence Cam. Could just be for Spell Bomb, but it could also be for Galvanic. Beetle. Alright, well, we're playing Beetle and we're playing Shambler. They're going to Galvanic the Vampire. That's fine. That's probably my least... the card I care least about right now. So I'm going to sack it, obviously. Counter here. Shambler. Now this means I could attack with the Insect. I could attack with the Carrion Feeder if they double block. I sacrifice both of these to trade, and Insect gets enormous. Yeah, I guess that's fine. They don't block, so we don't have lethal. I could deal them 11. The question is, do I want to sacrifice the Shambler? Because if I sacrifice the Shambler, then I don't have to wait on a trigger to resolve to be able to sacrifice all my creatures so that I can better protect this against a Galvanic. But obviously it makes it so a Stamina or something is worse. They do have a Spell Bomb for the Stamina, but Stamina still just makes 2 more squirrels, which is pretty good. I think we probably just leave it, but it's close. Also, only dealing 5 damage is pretty slow clock, whereas increasing it to 7 or 9 would have been a lot faster, but I don't know. Extract a Confession. Sacks the Feeder. It's a 3/3, and I can't do anything about... I can't change it being the biggest creature. So the question is, now do I want to sack the Shambler? Which I think yes, because I don't want a 1/1 Beetle around. So I wish I had done this before, obviously, because we would have gotten more damage, but that's okay. 1/1 Beetle doesn't do anything. Also, I want to get this Insect bigger, so I'll sack the Squirrel. I guess I sack the Feeder to the Extract, and they could Galvanic the Insect in response, but I can't stop that, unfortunately. So I'll grow these both. They don't have the Galvanic, at least not for the Insect. They could Beetle. I guess the only other thing I'm worried killing this is Death Touch, like a Toxin Analysis on the Refurb, which would be bad. They have another Enforcer, Shambling Ghast. Let's go to combat, see if they want to, like, Sewer Valence. No. It's so bad if we attack and they Toxin this. But it's also, I'm so far behind, I think I have to get the damage in. So I think we're going to swing. They don't block. All right. So we get in for some damage, play a Shambling Ghast, which means almost definitively they don't have Toxin. Bargain the Wellspring, Thoughtcast. They have so many cards. Utrum Monitor. That's pretty good. I would love a Village Rites. Blood Fountain, Sage. So I attack with Insect, they can double block. I can't do anything about it. That's not good. They also have a Blood Fountain to recur. Currently nothing, but it will be these guys. Alright, we're going to swing with the Shambling Ghast, because if they block, I get to ping off a Refurb and this Insect grows, which is all pretty relevant. They have the Galvanic for the Beetle, which does grow our Insect. Wish I had the Village Rites to keep it alive, though. They take 1. Play a Sage. Wellspring. We're very close to a Rite of Consumption being lethal. If they tap low enough that there's no Reckoner's Bargain, and I attack with these and they like block or take the damage or something, Rite of Consumption would just be lethal. Swing with the Enforcers. This feels like they have to have Toxin Analysis, because otherwise they're just throwing one of these away. And I think I need this too desperately, so I can't block. Maybe they're just trying to attack in and they know they can recur these, slash... you know, bluff into me not doing anything, but oh, they just have a Krark. That doesn't really matter. Mesmeric Fiend, that also doesn't really matter. I mean, I guess Mesmeric Fiend shows us what they have. Yeah, might as well see if they have a Galvanic or a Toxin or something. Although if they have it, they can Krark to get it back, so... Oh, their hand is basically the worst things we could see. So much card draw and life gain. I mean, I'll take the Toxin, but what good does it do? Swing with the Ghast. Bargain away their Wellspring. Maybe I should leave the Ghast back to block the Enforcers, I guess. Yeah, probably. Refurb. Swing with these. I'll block here. I don't know. If we get Rite of Consumption and maybe they tap out a black mana, we can have a shot. It seems unlikely. There's the Village Rites. If I sack Shambling Ghast, they might just have me dead, but I think I need to draw something, so... Ping off the Krark, force them to use... it to get their thing back now. Yeah, I'm dead anyway to them activating Krark here. So if I force this and then draw, I don't know what I can draw, but something. They get Toxin back. I need Rite of Consumption and a way to make this unblockable, which does not exist in our deck. Perfect. That's almost what I asked for. Alright, we're dead. That was annoying. I mean, that was pretty decent on a mull to 5. This is close. If we had a Carrion Feeder instead of a Swamp. Ugh. I mean, I think we have to keep this, but it's not amazing. What do I get rid of? I think I need Beetle. I think it's got to be one of these two. Rite of Consumption is the least relevant early, but of course it's the most relevant late. I think it's got to be the Rite of Consumption. Start with the Shambling Ghast. Part of me wants to start with the Mortician Beetle, but it could just get Galvanicked Not probably turn 1 unless they have a Grave Furnace, but even turn 2 is just, with no protection, seems bad. I could Vampire with no protection, but if they don't have a way to kill it, it's pretty decent. I think we do that, actually. I mean, they might not be able to Galvanic this with Metalcraft, in which case I could keep it alive with a Ghast. Alright, we have Beetle, Sage... Okay, we Beetle sadistically on the Vampire, sacrifice the Ghast for a treasure, play Sage. I could hit for definitely not lethal, but I think I sacrifice this and then keep the insect for just some more damage. Hit for 7. I mean, they don't have... They need a Krark plus like an untapped black to really screw us over. Otherwise, if they just play Thoughtcasts, Ultra Monitors, not too worried. Tap black, Thoughtcast. And we won! Ugh. That was a tough one. Game 1 was tough, but we got there. Game 2 was tough and we lost. And this one was a little easier, even on a mulligan. We draw Sadistically. Another one, that's great. So we probably put that on the Vampire. Yeah, just hit for a billion more. Could also have Village Rites. Alright, well, we lost against our best matchup. We won against our worst matchup. Let's see what happens next. Alright, here we are in round 3. Spike U, I think, plays Elves and Jund based on their MTG Goldfish history. So both of those are decks we want to be really fast against. Marauder's not great against either. We are on the play. Vampire Sadistically, I don't think this is quite good enough. Ugh, it's really close, but we're going to mulligan it. This one is a pain because it's a one-lander, but we're going to keep it. It's got Shambler, Stamina, Carrion Feeder, which is all really good. They mulligan to 5. We're going to lead on Carrion Feeder, both because if they're Elves or Jund, they don't have a lot of removal or have slow removal, and either way we want to be fast. And looks like it could be Gruul Monsters, which is usually what you get off of Arbor Elf, but it could just be Elves playing Arbor Elf. We'll swing just for 1 Land Grant. Okay, so it is Elves. Oh, with red for something. Elvish Mystic. Didn't actually look at the Elves lists they were playing. Writhing Chrysalis in the main deck. Okay, that's why. Quarian Ranger, Land Grant again. They have just a Masked Vandal left. So it's Elves plus Chris. We get a Swamp. I definitely want to Stamina this here and then just play another Carrion Feeder. So we're going to swing. They're going to take it. We will Stamina. Hit for 4. Play another Carrion Feeder. We'll sack to the untapped one, I guess. It can't block, so it doesn't really matter. If it could block, it would be relevant. Somewhat. We'll pass. Play a Forest. Play Masked Vandal just as a blocker. And a Sentinel. Okay, a couple blockers with higher toughness is a little annoying. Not for our feeders, but for our other guys. Oh, they are going to swing. I guess that makes sense since we can't block. Shambler makes tapped squirrels, otherwise I might sacrifice something to block one of these, but can't do that. We just get a Swamp. If I attack with a team, I'd probably lose Shambler, Squirrel, or maybe just 2 Squirrels for 2 extra damage. I don't think we want to do that. Let's just swing with these guys. They're going to take it. I kind of wish it was more than just 3. Yeah, I mean, I'll sack 1 Squirrel, I guess. Make it 4. Not that much more damage, but still. They have something. Genersent, maybe? Nyxborn Hydra? Yep, there's an Ent. That's pretty good. We just get a Swamp. Have to sacrifice 5 things to a Carrion Feeder to kill an Ent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's not great. It is doable. We have a Vampire Feeder left. Or I could just attack with the Vampire. We have to sacrifice 3 things to that, and this doesn't even stay big. So yeah, I think we attack with the Feeders. And I guess we'll do the Vampire too. Block the Vampire, block a Carrion Feeder here. We need to keep the guys who stay big here, so we're gonna sack the Vampire. Maybe shouldn't have attacked with it then, because I could have just sacked a Squirrel and had a second Vampire around, which would have been better, obviously. I would love another Stamina. I mean, Village Rites would be okay. They can attack with the Ent, because they can untap it with the Quarian Ranger. I could block it with the Blood Throne, sacrifice 3 things to kill the Ent. But then if they have just another Ent or something, it's pretty bad. We can't get through. I think we'll just take it for now. They crack their food token, untap the Ent, pass. Another Swamp. Well, we'll swing at the Feeders. They'll block here, and we're gonna sacrifice everything to make this big enough to eat the Ent, including the Bloodthrone Vampire. But we gotta get the Ent dead at some point, and we just need to get our guys big. So here we go. 7/7 and a 3/3. They play a Forest. They got another Ent, which means I can no longer attack with the small Carrion Feeder. but I can attack with a big one. Get a beetle. Swing with the carrion feeder. They might like untap an Arbor Elf or Sentinel to chump block. Yep, there goes the Sentinel. I probably have to chump block the Genercent with our beetle, which sucks, but I can't really afford to take it, I don't think. I think I just grow the one that's already big enough because it'll be closer to lethal and it's better with the ready consumption. Whereas if I start growing this one, it's worse because it gets chump blocked. I don't know. Usually you want to diversify, but I think here maybe I just want one big guy. They have an Avenging Hunter. That's annoying. Shambling Ghast is late, but decent. Can use it to pick off like a Quirion Ranger. Then they have to untap right now. Oh, but then I die to a chump blocker. Or rather, I die to them attacking in. So I have to leave this as a chump blocker. So let's just attack. I mean, they could untap the Genercent and go for a double block, which isn't my favorite thing, but honestly, it's my only way to get rid of one of these guys, so I guess it's decent. Gonna tap the Arbor Elf, though. Jump with that. Pass the turn. They're gonna forge onto the Hunter. Swing with just the Hunter. Seeing as we're dead to the trap anyway. Might as well keep the Shambling Ghast around. This can untap. There's almost no way we can survive here. We just get a swamp. I could pick this off. They block here. It doesn't matter. We die. That was frustrating. We didn't find any of our removal until the Shambling Ghast, which was way too late. We get Tragic Slips, Tyrannosaurus, Spinning, Darkness. This hand does not look very good. Let's try a different one. This hand is also not very good. No removal. Vampire's our worst grower. We're relying on drawing. I'm going to go to 5. We have a Drown in Sorrow. Vampire and Rite of Consumption I get rid of, I guess. All I have is a Carrion Feeder, which I don't even think I start with, because I think I want to try to... I think our only way to win is, like, Drown in Sorrow with three guys away or whatever. They Land Grant, Forest, Arbor Elf, Land Grant again. We even get Shambler, Carrion Feeder. So I should have played the Carrion Feeder now. Then I could have a giant guy. There's no guarantee we'll draw a swamp, so I think now I have to, but now we're behind for no reason. Maybe I should have played it anyway. It just felt like if I didn't draw anything, I might have just lost my only guy for no reason. They Saga Wildling for a forest, untap, play an Arbor Elf, Link Breaker, play that, swing with the team, Stamina the Shambler, hit for 4, sacrifice Shambler. It comes back. Pass. I probably should have sacked the Link Breaker to deal 1 extra as well, because I probably want to do that no matter what. So I can buff the Shambler here. They play Chris. I mean, if I get a swamp, I can make Carrion Feeder enormous, and then I can force a chump from Chris, or they just take a million. No swamp, which I'm not usually upset about, but here would have been nice. Play a Shambler, Mercenary to buff the Shambler. They can attack, swing with the team. We'll sack this Shambler to get 2 guys. Hit for 3. Yeah, and if I could have stopped them on 3 mana there, would have been pretty good, but now they can play a Genercent or an Avenging Hunter, but I don't know if they want to do that when I have all these guys out. They do play Quirion Ranger. Another Chris. And then they're going to play Avenging Hunter, sacking all their spawn. No, Timberwatch Elf. Okay, Drown in Sorrow would still be really good. They attack with Chrysalis, which I think I just block, because Quirion Ranger plus Timberwatch next turn could deal a lot. And I'm really hoping to get this swamp. I can't ever get what I want. That's annoying. If I attack with everything, do I just lose on the crackback? I can have 1 vampire to block. They could deal 5, 13, maybe. I think I'm just gonna go all in though. Untap Chris, block, take 5. Ugh, which means a Rite of Consumption would also be super lethal. We didn't get that either. I think we maybe have 1 more turn, but I don't think Drown in Sorrow does it anymore, so suddenly our swamp, which we have 15 more in the deck, would have been our best draw for several turns, and now we're probably going to get it, and it's not going to be good enough because they're going to have, like, hunters and stuff. Also, did I bottom a Rite of Consumption in this hand? I can't remember. Maybe. There's Genercent. Oh, right. Timberwatch with Quirion is just not going to let 2 things die also to the Drown in Sorrow. Attack with a Chrysalis, which could be plus a million. It's not lethal. Yeah, I think we take it, and if I get one of my 2 rites of consumption, we can win. That's about the only way we can, I think. Sadistic Glee. I could put that on a squirrel, which could become like a 5/5, or I could just put it on a vampire, which could become much bigger. This can give +8 to a blocker, though, so I think the chances of us attacking in and keeping our guy are very low. I think we'll do it on a squirrel, and I think we have to pass. I think our only out is Rite of Consumption still. Gingerbread Cabin's going to make that harder, because they could be a 14 here. which I'm now just short of. I wouldn't be if I had Pacidistically on Vampire or Feeder, but I figured they didn't have enough food for that to be super relevant. They play Avenging Hunter, although they don't have enough mana, actually, to sack more than one, so we have one turn. Right of Consumption, come on. I mean, Snuff Out's good. Don't really feel like it's good enough. I could take out the Timberwatch Elf. I think that's the most important one, because that's the one that can make anything, like, enormous. Okay, we'll snuff out Timberwatch Elf. Pump an Arbor Elf. Untap with the Ranger. Tap it again. This grows, but I can't attack. We'll pass. Counters on Avenging Hunter. Replay the Cabin. Winding Way. Very Macabre. Priest, Sentinel. There's Priest, Sentinel, no attacks. We get our Swamp, so I could kill 5 of their guys. I'm just going to give this 5 counters, plus I'm going to have to sacrifice 4 squirrels. So this would be an 11 power creature. Grow this to be 9. Then they still have 4 creatures. I get trapped, but I have a big blocker for this, and chump block, chump block. Oh, but I only have 3 blockers, so then I die to trap and their attack. I probably die if I don't do it, but I think I definitely die if I do, because I don't have enough blockers. Well, oh well, I think I gotta go for it. Maybe they make a mistake. Drown in Sorrow. They untap an Arbor Elf, so they can food token here. Infestation Sage, pretty sure is too little too late. Doesn't really matter. Swing. They chump block them both. 2 more counters, and we pass. We're trapped to 5. They attack, and we die. We just drew so poorly, I feel like. Alright, let's see if it's even worth continuing in the challenge. This hand is okay, we'll keep it. Against something red. Start with a Link Breaker and pass. They're going to Lava Dart the Link Breaker, so we're against Madness, it appears. Grab the prize, discarding a Mountain. Love to see that. Love to see that. We get another Sage. I don't think we want to play the Vampire. Well, not yet for sure. Sage and I guess another Sage. I could have just held up Village Rites so that I could try to draw a little bit more. This is more damage, but I don't know which is better. Gutter Snipe. Carrion Feeder. Let's play Carrion Feeder. Pump a Sage and swing. If they block the Sage that only has 1 power, then I can Stamina it. They could Lava Dart it, but I at least force them to lose a land and use the damage on this, which is better than nothing. So they will. I will sack it to the Carrion Feeder and hit them for 2. They cast Highway Robbery, discarding another Mountain, and Epicure. Curse Marauder. We can maybe get them to chump with the Epicure or trade. Then the Marauder can take out the Gutter Snipe. I think that's the goal here. Swing with the team. They almost do it and then decide not to. That's pretty annoying. So I guess I'm going to Village Rites the Sage. See if we get like a Snuff Out or something. We do. Well, I'm going to snuff out the Gutter Snipe. I don't like taking 4 off of that, but I think it's worthwhile. They only have to cast 2 spells for me to take 4 anyway. There's a Flame Breather. Sadistic Glee. If I put that on an insect, it can get pretty big. I kind of think I want to force another block and then... Well, I want to force a block and then Marauder again. It's kind of my goal. So let's swing with these guys. They block the bigger feeder. So we'll just let them take 3, and then Marauder. They Lava Dart us in response, and I could sacrifice this, or we could start to sacrifice the feeder. This is 1 more power currently, but this is scarier if they get 1 more blocker. Yeah, I guess we just get rid of the Marauder probably. We're at 9, so not impossible for us to die. They have a Grab the Prize, discarding and Grab the Prize. They're going to Blood Token away a Faithless Looting, play a Mountain. Appears they don't have a Bolt plus Fire Blast, Mortician Beetle. So I'm pretty sure sadistically on our feeder should be lethal. I mean, it's definitely lethal, assuming they can't kill it. And I'm not going to put it on like an insect because then they could Lava Dart it. So let's just play Beetle. Sadistically. They could like Fire Blast it in response and I'd have to sacrifice a bunch of stuff. Maybe should have tapped the Mercenary first. Yeah, they are going to Fire Blast it. We're going to sack an insect. Another Carrion Feeder, and an insect. So it'll take 4. They can Lava Dart it if they want, and I'll have to sack 1 more. Yup. If I sack Beetle, it's a 6/6. Then I Mercenary, pump it 7, and then I sack, and I should still be able to win. There's no way they have any more damage because they would have just had enough to kill us. So I should have Mercenary pumped first, but it looks like it's going to be okay. Attack for 9. Close one. We get Life Staff, Spell Bomb, Reunion, Tragic Slip, Vampiric Link, everything. Spinning Darkness, maybe. Curse Marauder was okay, but we really had to jump through hoops to make it good enough. Shambling Ghast isn't super necessary. We have only one land. It's such a good hand, though. We're on the draw. We're going to keep it. We're going to have to play a little slow because I can't run these out until I have probably both of these out. And if we don't get a swamp, that's going to take a little while. But I think the hand just has the power we need. And we draw what we need, which is great. Grab the prize with a lava dart. No snacker's nice. They offer the trade. Usually I would take that. We did take out the Marauders, so that's a little less relevant, but it is still a chump blocker. I think we do still. Nested Shambler is nice. So I could Carrion Feeder, Shambler, pump the Shambler, sack it, and this could become a 5/5. Or I could just Infestation Sage Shambler now, and then these are more protected, but if they have an End the Festivities or something, it's a lot worse. Yeah, I mean, the Carrion Feeder is kind of the most important, so maybe I should wait on it, but I think we're just going to do it now. And now it's kind of hard for them to kill the feeder. I mean, 2 bolts would still do it, but they have a Fiery Temper off a blood token at the face. That's great, so we can probably race them, especially if we get a Vampiric Link or something. Swamp's not bad. Play a Sage, play a Mortician Beetle, pump the feeder, swing. I'll just sack the Sage for a little bit extra damage. Plus it lets us have Spinning Darkness up right away. I think I will sack the Insect as well. Hit for 7. I have 14 damage next turn. They're going to Lightning Bolt us. Well, hopefully we don't die. I can Spinning Darkness my own Squirrel token as long as they don't have a Lava Dart still available to gain 3. So that's a little trick we have. Grab the prize, discarding a Mountain is great because no damage and it spends half their mana. Okay, they're going to pass. Get another Carrion Feeder, pump the Beetle, and I mean, we just have lethal on them here, because these are both 4s, so that's 8 total, 9, 10. They're going to Fire Blast the Beetle in response. We're going to grow it, sacking the other feeder, and sacking a Squirrel. So it'll take 4, gets another counter. This is lethal, they could Lava Dart this or something, but yeah, if that's all they got. We got the match, so 2-2. I mean, I'm not expecting to get top 8 or anything with a X2 record this early, but we got 4 more rounds. If I can go 4-0, 6-2 could still be a pretty decent record to get like a top 16 or something maybe. All right, here we are, round 5. This hand looks pretty good, pretty reliant on the Carrion Feeder, so we'll try to protect that as best we can, but seems decent enough. We're on the play. We get to start with a Link Breaker, pass. We are against either more Grixis or Dredge. Dredge? What? Jund? Jund is what I meant. We're attacking for 1. I think we get down the Carrion Feeder. If they have Galvanic Blast, I could keep it alive if I sack everything. If it's Jund, I really want to go... I mean, either way, I really want to go fast. Okay, looks like Grixis. They do Galvanic Blast, but they don't have Metalcraft. So I'll sacrifice here to grow it twice. If they have another Galvanic Blast, then I can still keep it alive. Yep, they're going for it again. So we'll make 1... big 5/5, but they used both Galvanics. Ooh, and we get just a bunch more fodder. Or this is big enough already, unless they have a Krark, it's probably not going to die. They would need 2 more Galvanics, so I think I might want to Village Rites this, try to hit a land drop and something else maybe. I guess 2 land drops is fine. Swing for 5, we'll just leave it at that. They got Bridge, they do have the Krark, and they have the Death Touch, so doesn't really matter. They sacrifice 2. Including a land. So that means that the Squirrel is going to die too, so I might as well sacrifice everything so they don't gain any life. I mean, we're pretty behind, but... well, not... I mean, they're at 2 lands and 3 cards in hand, so we might be able to recover, but it's not looking great. I could play a Beetle as just a 1/1. I guess I do that because if they play a creature, I can Marauder it away and this grows and I can attack right away. I mean, they had a very good amount of interaction to start with, even if they used the Galvanics maybe not the best way. Munitions, which means this is going to die. So I feel like I have to play Marauder to sack itself just to grow the Beetle to be a 2/2, so they have to throw 2 things at it. Better than them just picking it off for 1, and then Marauder doesn't do much anyway. I mean, we're pretty much both top decking. The problem is their top decks are much better than mine. There's a Thoughtcast. They're going to pass. We get a Bloodthrone Vampire, which is pretty bad because it just dies to Munitions. But I guess I could keep the Beetle alive, or at least I could make the Beetle bigger, so I think I do play it anyway. If they throw something at this, then at least we grow the Beetle. I don't know. They Thoughtcast, Refurb, discard a Swamp. And they have another Kark. Why not? Sacrifice the Spell Bomb, draw a card, sacrifice a land, we'll sack the Bloodthrone Vampire, then they have to sacrifice another land. Or if we're lucky, they sack the Refurb, but that grows the beetle, and they don't realize, and then it makes them lose the thing. But yeah, it doesn't matter. Ugh, I mean, they just drew... And now we get a Village Rites. Just drew all the interaction in their deck. Thoughtcast, Blood Fountain, Mirror Enforcer. We get a Swamp. I should have kept that for a refurb, but it doesn't matter. I'm this close to conceding anyway. Galvanic Blast us. Swing for 6. Sadistically, perfect. This is when we needed Snuff Out to get rid of that Death Touch early. Double Feeder, Vampire, Linkbreaker. If we had a Beetle, I think this might be a keep on one land, but it looks way too slow and not very powerful. This one's obviously not good enough. This has no creatures at all, so we're down to 4. Okay, we have... I think we have to keep these for any shot at getting enough damage. They play a tap land. We get a Stamina. Fortunately, that doesn't matter because we don't have a way to sack it yet. If we drew a Swamp into Stamina, we'd be okay, maybe. Maybe if they just have no interaction for a couple turns. Refurb when we're on a mulligan to 4. Perfect. Get rid of Vampire, I guess. We'll swing. They almost blocked the Beetle and choose not to. I think I sadistically on Shambler. Highest upside. Can't afford to not use our mana. They blast the Shambler. Swing for 2. They have nothing and we actually... draw Staminas. Now I wish I still had the Shambler, but they just get their land, so it doesn't matter. Refurb, and a Kark. Okay, well, we lose. Pretty frustrating. I was highly considering bringing White Weenie, and we've gone up against Grixis twice. Elves is probably a worse matchup for White Weenie, but maybe we would have been better against their version. Red we wouldn't have had a problem with, although I guess we won against them anyway. Terror is also favored for White Weenie. Guess we made the wrong choice. Alright, the good thing about being 2-3 is there's not a lot of stakes now. There's definitely no way we're making an amazing record. 5-3, we could still get some prizes for sure. I think everyone in the top 128 or something gets something, so we'll still be okay. This hand is not very good. We're gonna mulligan. So yeah, pressure's off. Guess we'll keep this one. Snuff Out's our only removal, so if we get rid of that and then we're against a deck where we really need it, that'd be tough. I think we get rid of Sadistically. We play a Linkbreaker that we just drew. Looks like they're on red, and they just bolt us. Grab the prize with the Snacker. Swing. I get Stamina and Village Rites. I could just Bloodthrone Vampire. I think we're just going to Vampire here. Pass the turn. They go for a Highway Robbery, discarding another Snacker and an Epicure. Swing for 2. I don't think there's any way we can deal lethal. I think we just Village Rites the Linkbreaker, try to find something. Well, we got 2 Sages, so I guess I can play those and have blockers for both Snackers. They're just gonna take it. So yeah, I think we sack these. I think if we take 4 damage from the Snackers, chances are we're gonna die. Also, if we have the ability, I might want to snuff out. Like if they tap out, we're at enough life, I might snuff out the Epicure if it makes it so that the Vampire can get in for lethal. Like if we draw a Nested Shambler here, they're gonna Lava Dart an Insect though. Okay, well I should have sacked it. Lava Dart the other Insect. Now they can swing for 4. They're attacking with the Epicure, so attacking for 5. I'd be at 7. Gonna block with this Mercenary. The fact that I didn't sack the other thing means if I don't sack this, they could... Well, either way, they could bolt this and kill it if they want to do that, but I think they're going to just try to kill us. We need them to not have lethal, and then if I draw a Nested Shambler, we could get there. Nope, they are just going to Fiery Temper the Vampire. They could have done that before, but it was a big mistake not sacrificing that first Insect. I'm not sure it would make a difference since they have the Epicure, and I draw a Swamp anyway. We're dead. Alright, on the play, we have Vampiric Link. Unfortunately, we have no sack outlet. We got to mulligan this one. All Carrion Feeders and Swamps. Okay, we will keep this very mediocre hand. Play an Infestation Sage and pass. We draw a Swamp. I thought about getting rid of a Swamp in case we drew another one. I could have kept a Carrion Feeder, then we'd have one that would survive here. That would be better than what we have now, but we did not do that. We have a Flame Breather. We have a Stamina. We'll swing. They don't block, so we'll Stamina here. Play Carrion Feeder, sacrifice the Sage, and then we'll Tragic Slip the Flame Breather. Bolt the Feeder. Well, I definitely got to keep it alive, or try to, and then they'll bolt it again, but we'll force them to do that. Lava Dart it. Sure, I might as well sack the Insect and force him to flash back the Lava Dart right now, or have another Lava Dart in hand or something. and the festivities. Why not? Unfortunate. Just not our day, I guess. The vampire dies to a lava dart immediately, so that's not even worth playing. Blood token away a mountain, and the festivities just for some damage. We get another vampire. Alright, let's see if we can go even. Start with a Shambling Ghast. We're against more red. Let's swing for 1. They take it. We'll Village Rites. And I think we'll pick this off. The treasure could be helpful, but if we don't get the swamp, we're not in a great spot either. Anyway. Play a Sage. Double Snuff Out. Not really what you want against red. Grab the prize with a Snacker. Swing with the Sage. Shambler. Carrion Feeder. We'll sack the Sage and unearth it right away. They play an Epicure. Swing with the Snacker. I can trade if I want. We're at 16, and I might need to use 1 or more Snuff Outs, so let's just trade here. Jagged Barons. Okay, so they're actually Rakdos, which means Snuff Outs are even worse, but we do have potentially more time. I guess we have nothing else to spend our mana on. I might as well just hardcast kill an Epicure. It's the only thing we can kill in their deck anyway. Swing for 4, pass the turn. They blood token a Kitchen Imp and also have an Alms of the Vein. I think we gotta get some more damage in here, so I'm going to sack the Sage to chump and sacrifice this. Hey look, Rite of Consumption. Pretty much the first one we've seen that we've been maybe able to cast this whole game. I can hit for 5. They're at 12, which would be enough to kill them with the Rite of Consumption next turn, assuming they don't gain any more life. I could make this 6 damage just to do a little bit more in case they gain like 1 or 2 life, but I think it's better to hold in case I get a Supernatural Stamina, seeing as they don't have any way to gain just 1 life anyway. If they gain 2 life, then it wouldn't make a difference. They swing for 4 here. The Vampire's Kiss. That life gain is gonna kill us unless we get just like another creature or something. Okay, and another Vampire's Kiss. The Jagged Barons. We're down to 3. Alright, well if we get Supernatural Stamina, because this could be 6, 6, so that's 12. So if I get any double body fodder creature, Bloodthorn's not quite good enough. So I can hit for 7 and then throw it. We could gain 7. Yeah, I don't think we can win. We can use a Rite of Consumption just to gain some life and stay alive, but I still am going to have to sacrifice Feeder, probably Shambler, because otherwise we'd add a 1 bolt. So I can keep Bloodthorn Vampire, but that by itself doesn't really do enough. I guess I could have sacrificed these to the Vampire, hit for 5 and 4. Don't think that makes a difference either. Yeah, we'll hit for 6, Rite of Consumption for 6, with the perfect draw. I mean, if they tap out creatures and don't kill us somehow, don't kill the Vampire, and then we get a double body creature, we could win, but it seems unlikely. Grab the prize with the Fiery Tempers, 5 damage, so we're dead. Alright, we do the same sideboarding we've been doing the whole time. We once again have a bunch of our sideboard cards, but not a solid hand otherwise. Mulligan again. Guess this one's fine, even though we don't have a Carrion Feeder. Get rid of... I don't know, everything's so bad. Sage and Glee, I guess. Jagged Barons. We do get a Vampire. Alright, we'll play that. We can keep it alive through some removal, plus we just have an unearth if we want to do that instead. Epicure, plus another tap land. Double Beetle's pretty good. Start attacking. Block the Shambler. Well, they called my bluff. I mean, I get in with the Vampire, but I'm not going to trade off that fodder when I want to grow our Beetles a little bit here. They go for a Looting. They have a Fiery Temper and a Kitchen Imp. So they can temper the Vampire, and I couldn't keep it alive unless I use a Beetle, but I could then just unearth the Vampire. Yeah, I don't want to sack a Beetle, so that's fine. Although I wanted to use the unearth on the Shambler, but this is what we got. They swing for 2. We get a Link Breaker, which is pretty much exactly what we wanted. Some sort of fodder creature. Get the Vampire back, swing with the team. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. So I could hit for 12 here. I think I will let these trade, because I want this blocker to be gone. We'll keep the fodder to keep the Vampire alive. Grab the prize with an Alms of the Vein. Alms, grab the prize. We go to 10. They also gain some life here, but can't really attack unless they want to prove me wrong. No. Shambler. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm 1 damage short if they block the Vampire. So the Beetles are 4. And I could sacrifice 5 things. It's a bit unfortunate. Well, we'll sack the Link Breaker. Just put him to 9 then. Yeah, 1 damage short. I guess if I'd sacrificed the Link Breaker on their turn, and then I could have mercenaried up the Shambler, we could have killed them, but I didn't know what I was drawing, so wasn't 100% sure. Electrickery. So we'll sacrifice Mercenary to grow the team here, and then I probably just let the Shambler die, so I get my squirrel back so I can pump on our turn, which would be 10, 13, or I could just sack both now. These become 6/6s each, but then this is a 1/1 on our turn. Yeah, I think we let it go. Take the Shambler, we keep the squirrel. Alright, and they concede, so we got that game. Also, I brought in the Spinning Darkness, kind of forgetting they were Rakdos. It only has Epicures to hit, so it's really not that good. Let's just bring one of our fodders back in then. Alright, this hand is fine. We'll keep it. It's not amazing. We have a Village Rites. We have Rotten Reunion, so we can stop the first snacker. We'll hope to draw into the other cards we need. We draw a Swamp, which is not great. Our plan also means that we have to leave a Rotten Reunion right away to catch a snacker, which is going to be very worthwhile if they do go for the snacker, and a little underwhelming if they don't. But they always do. So we'll exile that. We still take 2, but they don't get their snacker back. Now we get a Fairy Macabre, which means I could have done that a little safer, but whatever. I could Beetle and sack the zombie here. It dies to a bolt. I don't think I need to take that chance, but I do want to use my mana. Yeah, so we'll attack and sack it. This does mean I lose a counter on the Beetle. I think it's worthwhile. Linkbreaker Swamp is not what we wanted, though. Might be hard casting this Fairy Macabre, unless, of course, they go for another snacker right away here. Rakdos Carnarium. Bounce a mountain, and they're just going to pass. Nothing for 2 mana there. Another Beetle. Well, I'm not going to run out of Beetle and a bunch of Link Breakers and stuff that all die to an Electrickery. I think I just cast Link Breaker and hold up Rotten Reunion. Faithless Looting. Discards double Kitchen Imp. Well, I wish I had Fairy Macabre on the field then, so I could block one of these. Swing for 4, play a mountain, and pass. We're going to use the Reunion on the looting. Unearth. So we're going to cast a Beetle, which will get a counter here when the zombie sacks itself, but they're just going to bolt it. Thought that might be a possibility. What are you going to do? Going to cast a Fairy Macabre. Pass the turn. Highway Robbery. Discards Fiery Temper. Swings for 4. And they plot another robbery. We get a Vampiric Link, which would be really good if we had any creature that could get very big. For now, we unearth a Macabre. Swing for 2. I think I have to play a Beetle here. We're so far behind, but our best bet is, first of all, they don't Electrickery us. Second of all, we get a Carrion Feeder so that I can grow the Beetle to be big enough. And then Vampiric Link, and I can start gaining life that way, which could win us the game, but they have another Kitchen Imp and another Highway Robbery for an Alms of the Vein. Puts us to 7, so we die to 1 Lightning Bolt. Block an Imp. They grab the prize of the Faithless Looting. We go to 1. I don't think Carrion Feeder even does it then. Of course we get it, which is, I guess, great. We get to Vampiric Link this, sacrifice everything to make it as big as possible, gain some life. I mean, I think we even sacrifice the Carrion Feeder to itself afterwards. But we have a 6/6 lifelinker. We go up to 7. We still die to just 1 bolt. I guess I could make it a 5/5. We go to 6. And then I have a blocker for one of these, which technically gains me 1 more. That might actually be the play. Sure. Swing for 5. Gain 5. Faithless Looting. Discards 2 lands. Flashback Looting. Discarding 2 lands. Vampire's Kiss. They swing. We got a chump block. And we die to a bolt. Alright, last round here, and this hand is decent. 1 lander, but we have some card draw. We have Carrion Feeder. We'll give it a try. I was looking at the number of people who have dropped and things like that. I think if we get 3-5, we'll make top 128, which is not amazing, but is the lowest we can make and still get prizes. So here's hoping that that happens. We are against elves, it looks like. Getting a swamp is really nice. So I could just Accursed Marauder their first creature, which is not a terrible idea. I think we probably want to get Carrion Feeder going, though. We'll just play a bunch of creatures here. They play a Priest and Roost Seek. Okay, so I'll still be able to Marauder away the Findhorn Elves. Obviously, they got a little more value out of it, but that's okay. We're going to sack the Link Breaker, pump the Carrion Feeder here, swing the team. They're going to take 4. We'll play Marauder. This reduces their mana by 2. We'll keep the Marauder around because it's got higher power, and also, if we get a Stamina, we can use its ETB again. They have a Well-Wisher. Don't care too much about that. yet. I mean, if they're gaining 10 life a turn or whatever, it'd be a problem, but by that time I think we'd have other problems already. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Carrion Feeder can hit for 6 next turn, which is not quite lethal even with Rite of Consumption. Not unless we get a Swamp. They go for a Lead the Stampede, hit double Timberwatch, Masked Vandal, Quirion. So a Swamp would probably win us the game, assuming they don't chump block, but we get a Nested Shambler. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, I think we're just playing these, pumping the Shambler and attacking. It's not quite going to be lethal, but we're going to hit for a lot. And then Rite of Consumption could probably finish him off next turn, even with the Well-Wisher. Yep, they're going to take it. Sack the Shambler, the Sage. I think we go pretty all in, because this might be the last turn we can get in for damage. So let's sack everything except for the ones that are attacking, so that now this could be a 10-10, so they need to be able to make more than 6 elves, or I guess only 4 with the Quirion Ranger to untap the Well-Wisher. Just a lot more doable. Forest, there's the Quirion, Masked Vandal, 5 for a Timberwatch Elf, and another Vandal. Well, that's a lot. Then they untap the Priest, play another Timberwatch, and a Nyxborn Hydra. Well-Wisher puts them to 12, and they can untap the Well-Wisher, so yeah, I guess we're too slow. They can give this basically infinite. I can attack, but they can go back up to 20. So unless they somehow don't block a Carrion Feeder, which seems unlikely, we're going to lose. They block it all, so it doesn't matter. We're going to concede. Can't even win against elves. We have 1 Bloodthrone Vampire and a whole bunch of fodder. No interaction. If this was a Carrion Feeder, I would say probably yes, but I think that the fact that I'll have to sacrifice something over and over to it means probably not. This hand is terrible. Sure, if we get a Carrion Feeder and I can unearth this Shambling Ghast several times, maybe it'll be good enough. Although I think I get rid of one of the unearths. Mystic. I mean, Village Rites is decent. They're gonna block, which I'll actually just sacrifice to ping off their guy. I guess they saved a damage. Ooh, we get Stamina. Here's a Shambler. Winding Way gets them just a Well-Wisher. Tragic Slip. So I could Stamina our Shambler and then Tragic Slip it. That only gives me 2 squirrels, but it's the only way I have to actually gain any pressure. I have some decent interaction, I guess, with Spinning Darkness. Although I'm also wasting Tragic Slip, which is a premium removal spell. Oh, brother. I don't think we can justify that. Not yet. I will unearth the Shambling Ghast. They play a Gingerbread Cabin and a 1/2 Nyxborn Hydra. Interesting. We get a Bloodthrone Vampire. I could attack with the Shambler, but then if they block and I stamina it, it's like decent, but then we don't get the Vampire down. And I don't think I want to trade Shambling Ghast for it. I'd rather trade it for something else. So yeah, we just play Vampire. I mean, they don't have the best start. Winding Way on 2 into a small Hydra. We have 3 decent removal spells for a 1/1 and then 3 toughness and 13 toughness. Another Winding Way hits Forest, Monstrous Emergence. They do find a Timberwatch and a Generous Ent. They have another Monstrous Emergence to hit the Vampire, revealing the Generous Ent for 5 damage. I could keep it alive by sacrificing everything here, but that's not gonna be good enough. So yeah, we'll let that go. Like, all I would have at the end is a Bloodthrone Vampire and a Stamina, and I'd rather just look for another one of those. We get a Snuff Out. We have 1 Unearth left for this Vampire. Otherwise I could just Spinning Darkness this Hydra, but I don't even know if I care about that. We'll attack with a Shambler. If they want to block that, I'll just trade with it and get a bunch of guys, which they decide against. Pass the turn. Cycle the Ent. Play a Forest. Fyndhorn Elves. Timberwatch. They pass. We get another Shambler. I'll swing with the team for 2. They block them both this time, so I can Stamina the Shambler. These will both trade. I do basically waste the -1/-1 from the Shambling Ghast, but I killed a guy still, so it's fine. We'll just create a treasure. I think I should just Tragic Slip the Timberwatch. Although I do want more creatures to be more damage. Oh, but I guess I got the treasure. So yeah, we should do that because I don't have control over my creatures dying. So I might not be able to trigger the Morbid when I want to. So let's just do that, and we still have both of these. For other guys, there's another Timberwatch and the Well-Wisher. Village Rites. Spinning Darkness, the Timberwatch Elf. We get to keep the Vampire in the graveyard, which is what we'd want to unearth it if we get that. So let's just swing here. I am going to Village Rites a squirrel. Maybe I should go with a Shambler so that I keep the number of squirrels, or number of creatures actually. Rite of Consumption and another Village Rites. Well, we'll Village Rights again. Swamp and a Shambler. I could snuff out the Well-Wisher, but it's not my greatest concern at the moment, so we can leave that. They have a lead the Stampede. Turns up Llanowar Elves, Quirion Ranger, Well-Wisher, Generous Ent. Quirion is going to be a real pain, bouncing Gingerbread Cabin and also untapping Well-Wisher. I might need to snuff that guy out, but then if they just get a Generous Ent, I might not be able to get bigger than it, but I can't let them get like infinite life. Yeah, so I'm just going to snuff this out now. I don't know. Could be wrong, but feels like that's the most problematic of the creatures. They bounce and untap in response. Replay the cabin. They have another Llanowar Elves. We do get a Carrion Feeder, which is decent. Oh, they actually block 2 squirrels with the elves. I was not expecting that. That does make Carrion Feeder worse. They do need to have a forest to play the Generous Ent, though, which is kind of nice. They have another Monstrous Emergence, it looks like. Revealing the Generous Ent. I mean, this time I can make it a 6/6 so it survives. And I think I need to, because I need a big creature for this Rite of Consumption. So, yep, we're going to do that. Not a big fan of green getting all this removal. Doesn't seem fair. Alright, 6/6 Carrion Feeder. I mean, if they have another Monstrous Emergence, then we just lose it, but that seems less likely. They cycle the Generous Ent for forest and swing with the Well-Wisher. I can't block, but also if I could block, it would still trade since it's taking a bunch of damage. They're going to play another Well-Wisher and a Llanowar Elves. I mean, I'd rather they attack for 1 than gain 3, so I'm not sure why they would do that. We'll swing for 6. Chump blocking is interesting, too. Okay, they choose not to, or they're going back and forth. Chump blocking is, like, generally a decent thing, but then it makes their Well-Wishers worse. Because currently they can offset the 6 damage I can deal with their 2 Well-Wishers. Now I have a Rite of Consumption, but yeah, now they're gaining 8 life a turn, plus their food. They go back up to 20. Now would be the time to draw a Drown in Sorrow. We'll take 1. Come on, Drown in Sorrow. Don't fail me 1 time. Tragic Slip is okay. I mean, taking out a Well-Wisher reduces their damage, or rather their life gain by 5. Which means they're only gaining 3, so they are going down. It's not the best thing ever. I am, like, stable. I'm not really dying or anything, so it's kind of risky to use the Tragic Slip on them. Because then if they get, like, a Generous Ent or something, I could be in trouble. But I think that I should, because that puts me in a winning board state as of right now, so I don't know. But of course, they draw the Hydra. They only make it a 6/6. They're going to go on the offensive. We get a Vampire, so I can hit for 7, 14. That's not quite enough. Well, we'll attack for 6, play the Vampire, pass. Now they can go back up to 14. If they happen to tap out and not put a creature on the field, then I can attack for 7 and then Ritual. That's pretty good. They drew another Nyxborn Hydra. Well-Wisher. If they attack with both, they force me to chump. But if I draw, they have trample, so I can't chump and sack. If I draw any creature, I can win. But if I don't draw a creature, I will lose. Come on. Well, it just wasn't our day. What are you going to do? We finished 2-6. Pretty rough. We were at 126 before that match, so the chances we're in the top 128 are pretty low. In any case, I hope you enjoyed watching me get absolutely crushed. Thanks to my supporters who help allow me to show you me getting absolutely decimated in the Showcase Challenge. If you want to support me on a monthly basis, you can do so at Medify, or you can join my YouTube memberships, which allows you to see videos early. Thanks to my current $10 and up supporters, Howard Granger, JDNPX, Halkaz, Cody Cowell, Sty, DJ Vinyl, In Bunsby Bust, and Brotaku BC. I really appreciate the support, and I'll see you all next time.